Did you know casinos are psychologically engineered to make you fail? The endless maze of slot machines, the lack of clocks, the specific rhythm of the music. It is all a deliberate system to break you down. But what if the most effective tricks they use are not in the building's design, and are instead in the simple rookie mistakes they count on you to make? In this video, we'll reveal the 8 dumbest blunders that Vegas rookies make, turning their dream trip into a corporate payday. How many of these traps have you fallen for without even realizing you were being played? The casino's most effective strategy is also their most straightforward. Get you to blow your budget immediately upon arrival. They know that once you have exceeded your planned spending, you will either cut your trip short, or more commonly, you will abandon your financial discipline entirely. This begins with the strategic placement of ATMs throughout the property. Always visible, always convenient, and always charging fees between $5 and $8 per transaction. These are not randomly placed. They are positioned precisely at psychological pain points, near areas where you are most likely to have just lost money and feel the urge to win it back. The excitement of arrival is intentionally amplified. Notice how the entryways to casinos are always the most stimulating, with the loudest machines, brightest lights, and most activity. This is by design. Studies in consumer psychology show that emotional arousal significantly impairs financial decision-making. By front-loading the excitement, casinos trigger impulsive spending before your rational mind can catch up. The statistics are staggering. Industry data shows that first-day losses average 60% higher than planned budgets. One casino executive, speaking anonymously to a gambling researcher, said that if the casino can get guests to break their budget on day one, it has essentially captured the entire trip's spending. The psychological barrier is broken. The casino knows exactly what they are doing when they offer you that welcome drink the moment you check in. It is not hospitality. It is the first step in dismantling your financial defenses. Perhaps no strategy better exemplifies the industry's deceptive tactics than the infamous resort fee. This is a masterclass in psychological pricing manipulation designed to make you feel you are getting a deal, when you are actually being fleeced. When browsing hotel booking sites, you will see rates advertised at $29 per night or similarly attractive prices. It is only at the final checkout stage that the truth emerges. An additional $45 plus per night in resort fees that nearly doubles the actual cost. This is not just annoying, it is calculated deception. By separating the base rate from the mandatory fees, casinos exploit what behavioral economists call anchoring bias. Your brain has already anchored to the initial low price, making you more likely to proceed with the purchase even after the true cost is revealed. These fees have become so lucrative that they now generate an estimated $2.9 billion annually for the industry. Despite consumer outrage and even lawsuits, they persist because they work so effectively at creating the illusion of value. What makes this particularly insidious is what these resort fees supposedly cover: internet access, gym access, and local phone calls, services that cost the hotel virtually nothing to provide, and that many guests never use. It is a pure profit center, disguised as a service fee. When confronted about these practices, industry representatives typically claim transparency. Internal training documents from major casino hotels instruct staff to downplay these fees until the final stages of booking, because by then, most customers are psychologically committed to the purchase. Free drinks might be the most expensive bargain in Vegas. This strategy is so effective precisely because it appears generous when it is actually one of the most calculated profit-generating tactics in the casino's arsenal. Casinos precisely calibrate their alcohol service to maximize spending while minimizing obvious intoxication. They are not trying to get you drunk. They are aiming for that sweet spot where your judgment is impaired, but you are still able to gamble. The timing is scientifically engineered. Notice that cocktail waitresses appear most frequently when you are actively gambling, but seem to vanish when you are winning or taking a break. This is not coincidence. Internal casino metrics track drinks per hour for different types of players to optimize the balance between alcohol-impaired decision-making and continued play. What makes this strategy particularly effective in Vegas is the desert environment. Dehydration significantly amplifies alcohol effects, something the casinos understand perfectly. The dry, air-conditioned environment ensures that even moderate drinking has a stronger impact on your cognitive function. The financial math is brutal. Industry studies show that players under the influence of just 1 or 2 drinks wager 30 to 35% more money and play 15 to 20% faster than sober players. For the casino, that free $12 cocktail generates an average of $50 to $70 in additional losses from the typical player. Most disturbing is the coordination between drink service and game design. Games specifically increase in complexity and decrease in transparency as the evening progresses, exactly when players are most likely to be affected by alcohol. The timing of jackpots, near misses, and bonus rounds is calibrated to coincide with peak alcohol consumption periods on the casino floor. Vegas has perfected the art of the illusory free offer, knowing that humans are psychologically wired to overvalue anything labeled free. Walk down the strip, and you will encounter countless promoters offering free show tickets, free buffets, or free attraction passes. What they do not prominently disclose is that 90% of these free offers require minimum spending of $100 or more, usually on the casino floor. The economics are straightforward. They are not giving you a $40 buffet out of generosity. They are using it as bait to extract at least $100 in gambling losses. The most predatory version of this tactic is a timeshare presentation disguised as a prize opportunity. Visitors are told they have 1 free show tickets or helicopter tours, only to discover they must endure a 90-minute high-pressure sales presentation. Those presentations are masterclasses in psychological manipulation, using artificial scarcity, social proof, and reciprocity to pressure tourists into 5-figure purchases. Even the discount coupon books freely distributed on the strip operate on the same principle. Analysis of these offers shows nearly all require you to spend significantly more than you save. A buy one, get one free buffet deal seems generous until you realize you are still spending $40 to eat at a property where you will likely gamble afterward. Most insidious are the fake show tickets distributed by unofficial promoters. Tourists arrive at venues only to discover their free tickets require upgrade fees of $30 to $50 per person to actually enter the show. By then, having invested time and energy getting to the venue, most people reluctantly pay rather than abandon their plans. These are not just annoying scams. They are scientifically engineered exploitation of cognitive biases that all humans share. If you have ever felt disoriented in a casino, struggled to find an exit, or somehow ended up back on the gaming floor when you were trying to leave, you were not imagining things. Casino layouts are deliberately designed to confuse and disorient visitors. Architectural studies have proven the intentional disorientation built into modern casino design. Floor plans reveal how pathways that seem to lead to exits actually curve subtly back toward gaming areas. Sightlines are intentionally broken to prevent you from seeing across the property. Even the carpet patterns serve a purpose. The busy, complex designs draw your eyes downward, preventing you from looking up to find orientation cues or exit signs. While exit signs are legally required by fire codes, their placement is strategically minimized. They are typically positioned at the maximum legal height, in the least visible colors allowed by regulation, and often partially obscured by decorative elements that technically comply with code, while functionally hiding them from casual observation. These signs exist, but they are made less noticeable. The data on this manipulation is striking. Studies of first-time visitors show that the average time required to find an exit from the center of a major strip casino is from 12 to 15 minutes, compared to from 2 to 3 minutes in similarly sized shopping malls with straightforward design. That is not inefficiency. It is by design. This disorientation serves multiple purposes. First, it maximizes the time you spend walking past gambling opportunities. Second, it creates a subtle anxiety that research shows leads many people to stop and gamble as a way to reorient themselves. Finally, it discourages leaving altogether. Many visitors simply give up on finding quick exits and decide to stay longer, rather than navigate the confusing layout. Perhaps most telling is that casino employees use completely different pathways than guests. Back-of-house maps reveal direct routes that allow staff to move efficiently through the property, routes intentionally hidden from guests. Even before you enter a casino, Las Vegas is deceiving you about physical space and distance. This psychological manipulation begins the moment you step onto the Strip. The most obvious deception is the scale of the Strip itself. Those hotel properties that appear to be a short walk away are much further than they seem. Vegas blocks are 3 times longer than standard city blocks, a fact rarely mentioned in tourist guides. What looks like a pleasant 5-minute stroll is actually a 15 to 20-minute trek in desert heat. This distance deception is deliberately reinforced by architectural tricks. Buildings are designed with forced perspective, similar to Disney, that makes them appear closer than they are. Landmark features are built at larger-than-life scale, creating the illusion of proximity when they are actually quite distant. The toll this takes is physical, as well as psychological. Medical reports from Vegas hospitals and clinics show 40% higher rates of foot injuries, dehydration, and exhaustion. Related complaints compared to other tourist destinations. Orthopedic specialists in Vegas report treating strip walk syndrome, a collection of foot and ankle injuries specific to tourists who underestimated walking distances. The business strategy is simple. Exhausted tourists are far more likely to stay put and spend money where they are, rather than venture to another property. Casino executives understand that physical fatigue directly translates to reduced price sensitivity and increased spending on conveniences. Even more calculating is how this physical exhaustion is weaponized against your decision-making. Studies in consumer psychology have demonstrated that physical fatigue significantly impairs self-regulation and financial discipline. By the time you have walked the Strip for a day, you are neurologically primed to make poorer financial decisions. The taxis and ride shares clustering at hotel entrances are not just convenient services. They are counting on your exhaustion-induced willingness to spend $15 on a ride that covers what looks like walking distance. Casino loyalty programs represent perhaps the most sophisticated psychological manipulation in the entire industry. These programs are not designed to reward loyal customers. They are engineered to create addiction patterns while collecting valuable data that will be used against you. The mechanics closely mirror addiction pathways in the brain. When you insert your player's card and receive points, you are activating the same dopamine reward centers targeted by social media and video games. The unpredictable nature of these rewards, sometimes you earn points quickly, sometimes slowly, creates what psychologists call a variable reward schedule, the most effective mechanism for developing habitual behavior. Free play vouchers these programs generate are masterpieces of psychological manipulation. They typically expire quickly, which creates urgency, can only be used in small increments, which forces multiple visits, and require you to play through the entire amount before you can cash out any winnings, which guarantees extended playtime. Statistical analysis reveals that the average player loses 3 to 4 times the value of their free play while using it. Most concerning is how your own data is weaponized against you. Every swipe of that player's card feeds a sophisticated algorithm that learns your individual playing patterns, preferences, and vulnerabilities. This information determines what offers you receive, not based on what would genuinely benefit you, but on what will most effectively extract maximum revenue from your specific psychological profile. Internal casino documents reveal how players are segmented, not just by spending level, but by vulnerability profiles. Categories like loss chasers, near-miss sensitive players, and amenity-motivated visitors receive entirely different offers designed to exploit their particular decision-making weaknesses. The loyalty program is not a reward for your loyalty. It is a sophisticated data collection and behavior modification system disguised as a rewards program. The points, tiers, and status levels exploit our natural desire for achievement and recognition. The actual dollar value returned to players averages just 0.1 to 0.3% of their total losses. The most fundamental psychological manipulation in casinos is their deliberate disruption of your sense of time. This is not just about removing clocks from walls. It is a comprehensive environmental design strategy aimed at breaking down your temporal awareness. The circadian rhythm disruption begins with lighting. Casinos maintain the same light levels, regardless of time of day, deliberately preventing your brain from receiving the natural cues that help track time passage. Studies of casino environments have found that they precisely maintain lighting at the level scientific research shows maximizes alertness while impairing time perception. Sound design reinforces this disorientation. The ambient noise level is carefully calibrated to sit just below the threshold where it would become consciously irritating, but loud enough to prevent clear thinking or awareness of time passing. The machine sounds themselves are engineered in the key of C. Research shows this musical key generates the most positive emotional response while encouraging continued activity. The just one more phenomenon is neurologically engineered. Game designers precisely calibrate near misses and small wins to occur at the frequency that maximizes the urge to continue. This is not random. It is mathematically modeled to exploit how your brain processes anticipation and reward. The effectiveness of these techniques is staggering. Industry data reveals that average gambling session length has increased by over 300% since the implementation of these psychological design elements. Eye-tracking studies show that casino environments reduce blink rates by 40% compared to normal environments, a key indicator of attentional capture and time distortion. Most disturbing is how this time distortion is deliberately coupled with decision fatigue. The longer you stay in the manipulated environment, the more your executive function and self-control deteriorate. By hour 3 in a casino environment, psychological studies show the average person's financial decision-making capacity has degraded by 35 to 40%. This is not just about keeping you playing longer. It is about ensuring that the longer you play, the worse your decisions become, and the more money you lose. The human toll of these manipulative practices is becoming increasingly visible online. Reddit forums and travel review sites overflow with stories from people who feel psychologically ambushed by their Vegas experiences. One Reddit post with thousands of upvotes described the experience. Lost my entire vacation budget in 6 hours. I did not even realize how much time had passed until I checked my phone. The scariest part was how normal it felt in the moment to keep withdrawing more cash. TripAdvisor reviews consistently use terms like manipulated, tricked, and psychologically attacked when describing Vegas experiences gone wrong. One representative review stated, "The resort fees doubled my hotel costs from what was advertised. I felt completely scammed, but by then, I was already checked in with no alternatives." Social media threads document the alcohol strategy's effectiveness. One user wrote, "Free drinks led to $2,000 in losses I don't even remember making. When I checked my bank statements the next day, I found ATM withdrawals I have no recollection of making." What's most telling is how these complaints have evolved over time. 10 years ago, visitors who lost money typically blamed their own luck or choices. Today, there is a growing awareness of the psychological manipulation at play, with visitors specifically calling out the engineered environment as the culprit. Mental health professionals are also raising alarms. Therapists specializing in gambling addiction report that Vegas's psychological techniques have become more sophisticated and harder for even aware individuals to resist. One addiction counselor noted, "The environmental manipulations have become so advanced that knowledge of them isn't always sufficient protection." These are neurological and psychological vulnerabilities all humans share. Beyond the financial losses, the psychological manipulation in Vegas extracts a deeper human cost that rarely makes headlines. Families save for years for what they believe will be dream vacations, only to return home financially devastated and emotionally betrayed. The psychological aftermath often includes shame, relationship conflict, and lost trust. One financial advisor reported counseling multiple clients who had drained emergency savings or even taken on credit card debt to cover basic expenses after Vegas trips gone wrong. There is also the impact on mental health. The intentionally engineered highs and lows of the gambling experience create emotional volatility that can persist long after leaving Vegas. Psychologists report treating patients for what they term post-Vegas depression, a combination of financial regret and the neurological crash that follows days of artificially stimulated dopamine levels. Most concerning is how these experiences can trigger long-term gambling problems in previously moderate individuals. The psychological techniques used in Vegas are specifically designed to bypass rational decision-making and create habitual behavior patterns that can persist. Research from problem gambling organizations indicates that a significant percentage of gambling addiction cases trace their origins to a single bad trip to Vegas, where normal restraints broke down. What makes this particularly insidious is how the industry shifts blame to the victims. Casino representatives consistently frame excessive losses as personal responsibility issues, despite deliberately designing environments that undermine that very responsibility. These are not rookie mistakes. They are carefully engineered psychological traps that would fool anyone who has not been specifically warned and trained to resist them. The casinos are not winning because they are lucky, or even because they have a mathematical edge. They are winning because they are exploiting universal human psychological vulnerabilities with scientific precision. So here's the truth they don't want you to know. Every single one of these mistakes generates billions in extra revenue. You are not stupid for falling into these traps. You are human, and that is exactly what they are counting on. These corporations have been studying the weaknesses in human psychology for decades, refining their techniques to extract maximum profit from your predictable responses. They are not offering entertainment with a chance to win. They are offering the illusion of entertainment while systematically dismantling your financial defenses. The question is, now that you know the game they are really playing, are you going to keep letting them play it with your money? These corporations have been manipulating you for decades, treating you like a walking ATM instead of a valued guest. But now you know their tricks. Drop a comment. Which of these traps have you fallen into? Hit that like button if you are tired of being played. And subscribe because we are exposing every dirty trick they use to separate you from your hard-earned money. The truth is on your side.